Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. How are you feeling this morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching? How did you get up today? Did you get up motivated and ready to go and full of energy for the day? Well, when I wake up, I normally sit down for a few moments and do some meditation, and then I have a cup of tea or coffee. And it's just the way that I get started and start to make a list of the things that I want in my mind, of the things I want to accomplish that day. We all have our ways, our ways that transition between rest and activity. And I want to talk to you today about ways to stay motivated on those days. Those days when you really just don't want to do anything. You want to stay close to home. You don't want to go out. You don't want to connect to the world. You don't want to talk to anybody. Those days when you just are not motivated to get going. And one of our bloggers, Joe Moran, wrote this article on effective ways to stay motivated after 60. And, how to get your game on, how to get going, how to get into activity, how to move from thought to action, and some things you can do to just get yourself going. So when you wake up, you've got this nice cozy blankets all covered up and you're nice and warm, and you start to think, what am I going to do today? What are my priorities? What's important to me? And I think if you start asking yourself that, and don't reach for your phone or think about anything that, is going to sort of get you off on a, well, not necessarily negative, but on a more distracted route, just take a few minutes every day just to be with yourself and ask yourself, how can I empower myself to make this day wonderful, the best that I possibly can make it? And so here are some things. First of all, remember that life is not a thought; it is action. So if you think about what you want to do, or how you want to spend your day, or who you want to talk to, or what you want to do, that's a thought. The action is now then putting it into action and making it joyful. Making it a daily activity that you actually really want to do. And as Joan says, to achieve personal excellence in your life after 60. Okay, what are some of the ways? Well, the first of all is you can take control. You are in control of your life. It's tough. Yes, of course, there's going to be tough times. There's going to be relationship challenges. There's going to be financial issues. There's going to be just dealing with looking in the mirror. Like, what happened? What happened there? And you've got to sort of have this determination. And I think that Joan uses the word fierce, this fierce determination to make the most of this incredible time in your life. Yes, things are going to be hard, work or volunteering or whatever you're doing in your retirement, if you've retired, or in your life in general. And, you've got to have courage. You've got to be brave. You've got to be brave enough to say, look, I've got a limited number of years on this planet. I've got a limited amount of time, and I've got to sort of put those things behind me, put those things into their places, and just get on with it. Get on with the joy and the beauty of the life that you have been given. And I do know it's hard. Trust me. I'm not sitting here to preach. I truly have the same issues many, many times, and it's hard. But you can do it. You can take control. That's the first thing. The second thing is to understand your triggers. So, what are the things that hit you or come to you that are going to lead you down a path of either negative thought or feeling annoyed or feeling frustrated? Just know your triggers. Even as I mentioned earlier, reaching for the phone, like the first thing you do when you wake up. And trust me, I'm guilty of this sometimes too. Just reaching for the phone and checking your email or checking the news. Those things are going to sometimes be triggers. If that email came in that you really didn't want to get, that reminded you of something that you didn't want to think about, or you have had something in the news that's on your mind. Of course, there's the P word that we've been all dealing with for the last 2 years. And how can you not be affected by that? Maybe that's almost an impossibility. But the triggers create negative thoughts. And if you can understand your triggers, then you can understand how to put them in a place. I remember reading once where it said, you don't have to ignore them. You don't have to pretend that they don't exist, because they do, but you can put them somewhere. And somebody once gave the image of putting them in a box. Okay, I know that's a reality for me. It's something that's on my mind. It's something that's important. But right now, I'm going to get up and I'm going to start my day in a positive way. And I know I've got to deal with you. So I'll put you in a box under the bed, and then on a shelf. And then tonight at 6 o'clock, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to get a cup of tea or coffee or a glass of wine or whatever. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to deal with you. Okay? That's the second thing. Just know your triggers. The third thing is, and I know this is really such a tricky one because every time I even say these words, people go, it's not so easy, or don't, you're not really being realistic, or that's just not what I can do. But that is basically to avoid negative people, places, and things. It's a little bit like the idea of avoiding the news and avoiding like this, or even just the one view of the news, because if you look at it from all perspectives, you'll start to calm down. You'll start to see it in a more gentle way. But the point here is if you've got people in your life who are creating a negative energy, asking you to do things that you don't want to do, belittling you, showing any kind of contempt or any kind of condemnation for you, always saying but to your ideas, your great ideas, like, I've got this really great idea, I'm going to move to Italy and start a business selling jewels. You say, but you don't even know Italian. You don't even know people that do that. Now, I'm not saying cut them out of your life completely. I'm not saying, drop your friends or your husband or your partners or whatever. I'm just saying avoid, doing things with them that are going to elicit something that upsets you. Just don't talk about it. Maybe you've got a special relationship with a friend you've known for 30 years. You have one thing in common that you really love. Don't expect that you're going to agree on everything else. It just doesn't happen. They may be great people that know how, like maybe someone in your book club. You may love books, but they absolutely have a different political view or a different social view, cultural way of being, way of looking at the world. And, someone that hates travel and you love travel. But they do have something that's important. So I think it's like, don't dismiss everybody out of your lives. Friends are beautiful in their complexity and the difference. But know the ones that bring you stress and unhappiness, and just don't hang on with those people until they set off a trigger. And that sometimes they can be the trigger, but don't hang around them if they're going to force you into a trigger situation that causes sadness, depression, lack of worth, feeling you're not good enough, all those things. You know what I'm talking about. Just stop doing that, okay? It's not good for you. It's not good for you to hang out with those people in the times that that you need to be looking at it for a different way. The fourth thing is to restrict or examine your social media habits. Look at what you're doing, where you're going for that serotonin hit, the likes on Instagram or the comments on Facebook, or, just limit your self-worth to those categories, because it's so easy. And people, of course, are never going to put up on Facebook, I had an argument with my kids this weekend. My partners were taking a 3-month break from each other and I'm pretty depressed, or what, no one's going to put that on Facebook, are they? No, they're going to say, had a lovely weekend, just walking in the woods with my dog and, playing with the kittens and visiting my grandchildren and, just grateful for all I have in my life. Common thing that people put, right? They're never going to put the first one. They're going to put the second one. And that's what you're going to read. And you're going to think, well, I had a pretty bad weekend. My weekend wasn't nearly as good as that. And then you start to spin. Then you're in your triggers. These constant likes, constant comments, it's nice in a way. And honestly, trust me, I love reading your comments with 60andMe. I mean, they make me feel so good sometimes. I mean, all the time, but sometimes when I really need it, because sometimes I have things that are on my mind too. And just having a comment that I was able to share with you something of my experience, or doing the makeup videos, or talking about travel, whatever you love to do, that is beautiful. So I love those comments, but and I get my fair share of negative ones too, but it doesn't bother me. So social media, is something to be careful about. And these people, there are people also that follow you sometimes that you knew like 10 years ago, or they're strangers. You just don't know them. And every time I see someone, or I see it, I look at my followers sometimes, or who I'm following, and I think, I don't even know that person looks like. I honestly can't remember. I just let them go, and I think you can do that too. But anyway, limit or restrict or examine your social media activity and tie it up with reality, okay? I mean, just don't go too far with it. It's not your whole world. The fifth one that Joan talks about is use your words carefully. I've done other videos on this topic, and I'm such a huge communicator. I really do believe that the words that we use are powerful tools, and they're also weapons. You know, they can be negative or positive. And as I, said, I love my messages that you send me. Words can be embracing and affirming and gorgeous, just lovely to have, but they can also be hurtful. And so just watch your words. Just try to put yourself in the place of other people when you're using words that they might interpret or consider critical or negative. It's not necessary. You don't need to do that. I mean, yes, with a friend, you can give suggestions and constructive advice, but just watch your words. That's the final one. And so basically, when you are looking to have a happy and fulfilling life in your 60s, try some of these things, maybe all 5 of them, try all of them, and see how it changes your ability to get up in the morning, grab that cup of coffee and say, hey, cheers to the world. I'm going to get on with my day. I'm going to turn these great thoughts I have about what's good in my life, what's good in the world, and just, go forward one step after the other towards, a happy day. So I would love to know, how do you stay motivated in the morning when you wake up? And how do you stay motivated throughout the day? Do you have any mantras or little reminders or quotes or things that you pull into your being when you need that kind of motivation hit? I hope that you have a beautiful day today wherever you are, and thank you so much again for being part of 60andMe. We love you and value you so much. Take good care, be strong, stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.